Hi, I'm Sunnyvale Mayor Larry Klein. Though it's only been a year since I delivered my first State of the City address as your mayor, in many ways, it feels like a lifetime ago. The world is a very different place now than it was last September. We have all faced unimaginable challenges during these past 7 months. But as I reflect back on the year, a familiar theme emerges, that our city and community remain incredibly strong, resilient, and forward-looking. COVID-19 has tested us, and we've risen to fight this terrible disease and its spread. Throughout this crisis, I've been so proud of how we've responded together. Many people have stepped up to the plate, from donating thousands of masks to volunteering hundreds of hours. I'd like to especially thank Alta Medical Devices, students from the Fremont High School, and community members Warren Wang and Tony Guan for the protective equipment donations. I'd like to thank our CERT volunteers for their incredible dedication and over 800 hours of time, particularly in support of the COVID-19 testing centers. There were many other facets of our response as well. Early on, the City Council passed an emergency ordinance protecting residents from eviction. And as the public health order shifted, we shifted too, from promoting essential businesses to streamlining outdoor dining permits, and even closing Murphy Avenue to cars so restaurants could expand operations outside. Our City Council also took several funding actions, approving a series of emergency grants totaling $1 million to help residents and small businesses with food, rent, and other expenses. Corporate donors like Google, LinkedIn, Intuitive Foundation, J. Paul Company, and Facebook gave generously as well, raising the total to over $3 million. Our city employees have been on the front lines, making sure our residents get the help they need. Senior Center staff reached out to seniors and delivered groceries, medicines, and yes, even toilet paper. To give you a sense, they've delivered almost 1,700 meals and made over 700 grocery and other deliveries. Recreation staff activated the new Sunnyvale Serves phone line, and so far, they have fielded almost 3,000 calls with questions and requests. Our city employees worked more than 800 shifts at Sunnyvale Community Services, answering phones, bagging groceries, and delivering food for the nonprofit. They have worked tirelessly, many from their homes, to adapt our services with creativity and resourcefulness. For example, we moved to hosting city council and commission meetings all online and expanded streaming to YouTube. In lieu of in-person public meetings for our projects, our staff are also making educational videos and gathering feedback through online surveys and virtual community workshops. Our library staff significantly expanded digital content and organized plaza pickup hours for library materials. And you can now get a library card and chat with a librarian all online. Incredibly, the list continues. Nova employees provided many essential services for job seekers and employers remotely. Our one-stop permit center team accepts and reviews applications electronically. Recreation staff pivoted our beloved Hands on the Art Festival to an online event complete with guest crafters. And departments are sharing activities and resources for adults, teens, and children through regular videos and newsletters. Of course, not everyone can work from home, so we are especially proud of our employees who have continued to work in the field and on the front lines, from utility and park workers to inspectors and public safety officers. As they say, the show must go on, and go on it did with incredible accomplishments despite the pandemic. For starters, we've continued to make major improvements in our infrastructure. Our number one transportation priority, reconstructing the Matilda 101-237 interchange, is now mostly complete with just a few remaining signal and sign enhancements. This $42 million project was designed to reduce congestion and improve traffic on Matilda Avenue for all modes of travel. New turn lanes and ramps, improved traffic signals, and dedicated bike lanes are just a few of the enhancements you'll notice, whether walking, biking, or driving. This project is one of many that benefited from VTA's Measure B, the half-cent county-wide sales tax to enhance transit, highways, expressways, and active transportation. And there are more to come for Sunnyvale. We've also received almost $30 million in VTA grants for bicycle and pedestrian improvements. Planning is now underway for an underpass on Bernardo at the Caltrain tracks. We're also working with the City of Mountain View to complete 2 new segments of the Stevens Creek Trail. And several intersection improvements along Homestead and Foothill to Hollenbeck will help students get to school more safely. While these plans progress, construction is well underway elsewhere in the city. This June, we began to work to rehabilitate Fair Oaks Bridge. Scheduled to be completed by fall of next year, the project will widen the bridge, add new sidewalks, and widen bike lanes, improve nearby intersections, and add new landscaping and streetlights. Renovation of the Washington Swim Center is also going swimmingly, with work on track to open for the 2021 season. With a new zero-depth entry pool, 4 lap lanes, a splash pad, new locker rooms and showers, and a community room, this project will significantly improve recreational opportunities for the community. Finally, we're getting very close to start the construction at Fair Oaks Park. This major renovation will upgrade park amenities, including restrooms, picnic areas, athletic fields, and basketball courts. Perhaps best of all, though, is our partnership with Magical Bridge to incorporate an all-inclusive playground with equipment for all park users, no matter their physical or cognitive abilities. As you know, the city plans and budgets for these projects well in advance, so seeing them come to fruition is always exciting. A great example of this is the largest capital project in the city's history, rebuilding our wastewater treatment plant over the course of about 20 years. Our city staff operate this complex industrial facility around the clock to ensure we meet regulatory requirements and protect our bay waters. By itself, this is impressive work, but it's more incredible when you realize we must rebuild while still maintaining operations. Now, after several years of design and construction, we're almost done with the first phase, an all-new primary treatment plant, which is where wastewater from the city first enters the plant. To give you an idea of the scale of this massive project, contractors loaded the site with 300 million pounds of dirt to prepare the area for the new buildings. And speaking of new buildings, another exciting project moving through the design stage is the Lakewood Branch Library and Learning Center. This 20,000 square foot facility is in the Lakewood neighborhood, which will serve as a primary source of literacy, learning, and wellness activities in North Sunnyvale. Envisioned as a joint use facility, we finalized the agreement between the city, Sunnyvale School District, and Fremont Union High School District in January. This summer, the community has had the opportunity to weigh in on the layout and design concepts that will shape our city's first ever branch library. Another significant project nearing construction is to modernize our Civic Center campus, which will include 6 acres of public open space. This past year, the City Council approved the budget, design, and construction management contract for the first phase. The city is now in the process of hiring a general contractor and expects to begin construction on the new City Hall and Public Safety Building addition in early 2021. These buildings will be models for sustainable infrastructure when complete in late 2022. Both will be all electric, and the new City Hall will have a net zero energy and certified LEED Platinum. To our knowledge, This will be the first city hall to achieve this environmental milestone in the country. Leading the way in sustainability continues to be a strong suit for Sunnyvale. We're now a year underway with our Climate Action Playbook, the city's plan to achieve the ambitious emissions target of carbon neutrality by 2050. The great news is that our latest numbers show that we are halfway to our 2030 greenhouse gas reduction goal. But we must keep pushing ahead in this race against time. To do this, one of our Playbook strategies is to adopt REACH codes. These are local energy codes that go beyond state requirements and promote a shift to all-electric construction for new buildings. This will help reduce natural gas use, which accounts for about 1/3 of our emissions. We're currently collecting community input prior to the City Council considering these codes this fall. Another of our key strategies is to improve Sunnyvale streets for pedestrians and bicyclists, since about half of our emissions come from transportation. To that end, the City Council approved the city's active transportation plan a few weeks ago. This long-term plan will help the city access funding for programs and projects that make walking and bicycling safer and more convenient for residents of all ages and abilities. This will include protected bike lanes and safer intersections and routes to schools. One example leading the way is our recently completed Caribbean Drive Green Street project. Not only will this project help treat stormwater by replacing concrete with native plants and a bioretention area, it adds a protected multi-use path and provides convenient access to the Bay Trail. Of course, when we do drive, we want to go with electric vehicles whenever possible. So we've added new EVs to the city's fleet, and we're working to expand charging infrastructure throughout the city. We also hosted an EV showcase where more than 100 people came to test drive electric cars and learn what it's like to own one of them. This was one of the several educational events about sustainability on topics ranging from water resiliency to the relationship between climate, energy, and food. Accelerating climate action is one of the City Council's strategic priorities and requires major policy initiatives. Another significant initiative from the past year addressed the way we vote for Sunnyvale City Council members. After facing a challenge at our at-large election system and potentially costly litigation, the city undertook a widespread community education and input effort. You helped inform our path forward. In March, voters passed Measure B, the district map that we will use for this November's council elections was designed by a group of residents and community leaders. Next year, we will begin the process of redistricting with data from the 2020 census. That is one of the many reasons we are counting on you for a complete and accurate census. As of now, almost 80% of residents in Sunnyvale have responded. So if you're among the last remaining few, you still have until September 30th to complete your questionnaire. It's quick, easy, and confidential, and can be done by phone, mail, or online. So please get counted. Now, one of the things we can always count on is our amazing downtown, and it's only getting better. For instance, perhaps you gave us feedback this year on the improvements you'd like to see for Plaza del Sol. Located across from the Sunnyvale Caltrain station, the plaza is already home to several community events. Now, the city is preparing to add more shade trees, a children's play area, additional public seating, and a covered garage entrance for green space. While we very much missed our events this year, we are looking forward to resuming them at some point soon and enjoying this fabulous new space. On the private development side, CityLine Sunnyvale continues to build its project. There are another 75 apartments under construction at the corner of Iowa Avenue and Tafe Street, with 12.5% of them designated as below market rate units for low-income households. The AMC Theater is complete and ready to open as soon as movie theaters can resume operation. The Whole Foods Market is putting the finishing touches on their store and targeting early November to open to the public. And several retail tenants and restaurants have signed leases, including Salon Republic, Ulta Beauty, Urban Plates, and Pacific Catch, just to name a few. This summer, after extensive community outreach, the City Council also acted on a major planning initiative, approving updates to our downtown-specific plan. The amendments to this plan will pave the way for more housing and office uses and be in keeping with the community's vision for a vibrant downtown Sunnyvale. The Council also approved development agreements for 2 downtown projects, expanding the City Land project in the commercial core and building an office building at the site of the old post office. Together, these will provide almost $14 million for the city's Community Benefit Fund, new public open space, and affordable housing units. As always, affordable housing is a major focus for the city. Among the most significant tools in our arsenal are the city's general plan and zoning policies. These ensure we enable a diverse mix of housing to be built, particularly near public transit and employment areas. In addition to what the council just approved for the downtown, we're currently in the process of studying the potential for adding housing in several other major planning districts, including along El Camino Real, Lawrence Station, and possibly even within Moffett Park. And these studies will all include an evaluation of adequate infrastructure and services. More broadly speaking, we're also developing a housing strategy that proposes ways for the city's housing stock to serve a range of affordable and other housing needs. This plan recommends 13 strategies that address issues such as affordability challenges in mobile home parks and improve age friendliness in housing. We're currently collecting community input on the plan in preparation for the City Council to consider it this fall. Of course, as important as it is to study and plan for housing, it's even better when you can fund and build it. So we're doing that too, by allocating $26 million of the city's housing mitigation funds towards almost 400 new affordable units in 3 separate projects. The first is a 90-unit development on city-owned property at Charles, Iowa, and Matilda that is slated to break ground in late 2021. Once constructed, this development will create new housing for Sunnyvale's lower income and developmentally disabled community members in a terrific location near downtown. The second, called Orchard Gardens, is on track to be the first Measure A funded project here in Sunnyvale. It will add 120 new and rehabilitated units affordable to lower income households. And finally, this year, the city purchased a property on Sonora Court in the Lawrence Station area that will be used for 177 units of affordable housing on 1.25 acres. In addition to adding to its housing stock, the city is also adding another 8.5 acres to its public park systems through 2 private development projects. The first is a 2-acre public park that is part of a housing development on the former Corn Palace property west of Lawrence Expressway. The second is a 6.5-acre public park, also part of a housing development on the former property of chipmaker AMD off of Duane Avenue. These new additions will be wonderful complements to the 7 acres of parkland we've added in the past few years with Sweagles, Seven Seas, and Weiser Parks. Sunnyvale is as well known for being a safe community as it is for its beautiful parks. Last year, we were ranked the safest city in California and among the 10 safest in the nation. Accolades like this are partly due to the collaboration we have between the community and our public safety department. One of the more unique ways we accomplish this is through our new Citizens Academy, which graduated another class this past October. In this 8-week course, participants got a behind-the-scenes introduction to public safety and learned how our integrated police, fire, and EMS model serves the community. While our officers work hard every day to stay visible and engaged, we know there's more we can do and must do, especially in response to the extraordinary public outcry around the country over the issues of police use of force and racial injustice. Here in Sunnyvale, following a peaceful protest in June of more than 2,000 people at City Hall, we committed to doing just that. As a start, we immediately launched a Sunnyvale Unity Initiative with a series of community listening sessions to hear from you, as well as our youth and LGBTQ and Spanish-speaking communities. We also shared more policing procedures and data on a new police accountability webpage. Going forward, we will continue to create safe spaces for dialogue so that we can work with you, our community, to understand concerns and work on effective and lasting solutions. Our hope is that Sunnyvale Unity will help create a culture of belonging where all members of our diverse community feel included, heard, and respected. In closing, we are so fortunate to have had a year with many significant accomplishments, despite the tremendous difficulties brought on by the pandemic. Our professional and dedicated city staff truly demonstrated how they can achieve a high bar for service, respond to complex challenges, and find creative solutions. I think we can all be very proud of how our city and community have responded to adversity. As we look ahead, there are still many unknowns, of course, but we will face them with the same resilience we've demonstrated this past year. So please, stay safe and join me as we celebrate our accomplishments and work together to ensure the best possible future for Sunnyvale. Thank you.